The Lakers currently sit at 11th in the Western Conference after losing to the New Orleans Pelicans in a key game that they really needed to win. It was a close one, but ultimately the Lakers ended up losing, and now they are on a 5-game losing streak, and they need to win out if they want to have a chance at making the playoffs this season. And in that key game, the Lakers went to an interesting starting lineup. They had Westbrook, Avery Bradley, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Dwight Howard. It was Anthony Davis's return game, and he had a solid game for them, especially considering that it was his first game back. He played really well, and ultimately that just wasn't enough. LeBron continued to score the way he's been scoring, and he got a lot of buckets, but it just wasn't enough. And what's interesting is that the Pelicans, they have the Lakers pick if it lands in the top 10. So the Lakers need to make the play-in tournament at least, so that way they could retain their own pick if it lands somewhere around the 11 to 14 range, because that's probably where it could land if they end up finishing out the season strong. But what will it take for the Lakers to make the playoffs? Well, if the Spurs end up winning again today versus the Portland Trail Blazers and then finish out the rest of the season 2-2, the Lakers will have to win the rest of their games to have a chance at the play-in tournament. So, the Lakers are facing the Nuggets today, then they're facing the Suns, then they're facing the Warriors, then they have a game against the Thunder, and then they're facing the Nuggets. And then the Spurs, they have a game today against the Blazers, then they face the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Warriors, and the Mavericks. So after that Trailblazers game, I think there is a possibility that the Spurs could go 2-2, or maybe even worse than that. But what the real challenge is the Lakers need to win 5 games in a row, and they're coming off a 5-game losing streak. And Frank Vogel has made some questionable decisions when it comes to his lineups. He ended up starting Avery Bradley, and Austin Reaves didn't play after a long stretch where he was playing major minutes and also starting in a lot of games. It's really interesting to see that he ended up not even playing in that game against the Pelicans. And then Avery Bradley, after getting inconsistent minutes, he ended up playing a ton of minutes against the Pelicans. And Dwight Howard, who has also had quite a few DNPs, ended up starting for the Lakers in a lineup where they also had Anthony Davis, and I think they could have used more floor spacing, and they probably could have ran AD at the 5 to help their spacing. And something interesting about this season, an interesting statistic I saw, is that LeBron has really struggled to hit shots in the clutch. And that shot he took against the Pelicans the other night in the clutch was a really tough one, and I think that he probably could have passed it off, but obviously LeBron has been playing so well this season, so you could probably trust him more than anybody else in the clutch, even if his percentages aren't the best. But that's it for the video. I guess we'll have to wait and see if the Lakers make the playoffs. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe.